And you see that, Clay Thompson's dad was Michael Thompson. Michael's always, did well. So he grew up with money. It seems to me, Patrick Mahomes' father was a pro athlete, so, he probably had some money around the house. Is that, and by the way, Steph Curry has not always taken the most money. Patrick Mahomes hasn't always taken the most money. Peyton Manning's, family grew up with some money. And so a lot of times I feel like I don't like to ever tell somebody who didn't grow up with money. I don't know Deebo Samuel's background, but a lot of pro athletes, a lot of them, probably 90%, didn't grow up with a lot of money. So who am I to tell somebody? I mean, my dad was a small-town doctor. My mom worked at the school. I never thought about anything about money, right? So maybe Deebo's just like, hey, man, this is my opportunity in life. I want the most money. I'm not going to tell people, like wide receivers especially, and the way Deebo plays especially. I mean, he plays physical football. Like this is not a 12-year career. So let's start with that premise. I don't know your background. What does money mean to you? Is it important? Did you ever have it? I don't know those dynamics. And also, I said this last week, if I'm a receiver, I'm going to mostly take the money. Like Tyreek Hill, go take the money, okay? I get it. Quarterbacks and coaches' legacies are really connected to winning Super Bowls and championships. But I do think we also have situations where a coach can elevate you. I mean, Sean Payton took Drew Brees from a nobody to a Hall of Famer. I mean, Drew Brees, the Dolphins doctors can't play here. He's a Hall of Famer now. He's making, 10, 20 million a year, being an announcer or whatever. Mahomes, what if he ends up with a defensive coach? Look at Jared Goff's career with Jeff Fisher, then Sean McVay. I mean, look at that contract. He was going to be out of the league, and then he got a $1 zillion contract. So there are situations where a coach is a really good fit for you. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's ability to turn 6-round running backs into stars, there you go. And we also know Belichick has a history of finding these odd parts that don't work anywhere else, and they work on his defense. So you have to weigh all this stuff. What does money mean to me? What's my style of play? Like, here's where Deebo Samuel, I think, understands this. Dude, I've been hurt. I am physical. This offense leans into my physicality, not away from it. I got to get money. Kyler Murray, I've been hurting back-to-back years. I'm small. I run around. I'm not really a true pocket guy. I want my money. Like, I get that dynamic. But it has to be considered along with this. I think Deebo's with a perfect football coach. And the Niners have offered him a deal. The Niners are saying, no, we get your value. Here's money. Deebo's like, no, I want more. So this is not the Niners not getting him or not committed to him. They are. Now, there's points. Again, Joy and I talked about this either today or yesterday. If you want to be top of the market like Aaron Rodgers, you got to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to make, like Russell Wilson in Seattle got expensive. Your offensive line's bad. Aaron Rodgers, top of the market, doesn't have a number one receiver. Mahomes, team-friendly deal. Well, they're just signing people left and right. So Matt Stafford, team-friendly deal. Well, they go out and get Bobby Wagner. They were considering that Honey Badger. So these are all decisions. It's very complex. It's not just as easy as to say, what are you doing? He's been beat up. He's missed games. He's very physical. He's not a 15-year career guy, and they lean into his physicality. That offense leans into his physicality. And he probably is sitting there thinking, and I think Kyler Murray's doing the same thing. I'm not a 20-year guy. I am not a 20-year guy. I want my money. And I think in Kyler's case, you pay him. I think you pay Kyler. In Deebo's case, I said this. I'd lose sleep, but I don't know if I could because George Kittle is also great, and he gets banged up a lot. He's also a wildly physical player. So my two offensive go-to guys are both physical, and they get beat up a lot. The Rams star players don't. Cooper Kupp's not hurt. Stafford's not hurt. Donald's not hurt. Ramsey's not hurt. Bobby Wagner's not hurt. Andrew Whitworth, formerly never hurt. So the division rival, their guys never get hurt. My guy, Garoppolo, got hurt. Kittle got hurt. And I got to pay Deebo a ton, and his style is not going to wear well over time. So I think this is a very complex situation. I don't think it's as easy as saying pay him or don't pay him. I talked to Bill Polian, the Hall of Fame front office guy, a couple days ago, and he said, I'd pay him, and I'd draft a lot of defense in the draft so I could get really cheap on defense. He goes, this is the guy you lose sleep over. There's not a lot of duplication in the league with Deebo Samuel. But in fairness, the Niners have offered him a contract. They're not lowballing him here. but they probably don't want to pay him top of the market. Now, as Joy and I have said, had they moved off Garoppolo 2 months ago, which I still think they should have, that clears up some money from Deebo. I think they should move off Garoppolo. Listen, if you drafted the wrong guy in Trey Lance, that's a you problem, but you got to find out. You can't be taking snaps from Trey Lance. You can't. I mean, you moved all those picks around to move up in the draft to get him. You got to play him. So I would, if it was up to me, I would consider moving Deebo, but I would see if I could get Garoppolo off the books. I would go, as Bill Polian told me, draft as much defense as you can, get as cheap as you can on defense. You may have to move another defensive lineman, keep Bosa, move everybody else. But it's not easy. As the world turns in the NFL, Joey, we get every...
it's nonstop. Thought it was over in March. It just continues. And there's still moves to be made.
For the
Jimmy, Baker.
You know where he really fits? Green Bay. Niners aren't going to trade him there, but
no, there's no,
and
there's
they
no
can't
ways.
afford him because of their quarterbacks.
They're going to try and find somewhere in the AFC to send him.
Let me think about this. You know where he'd work? New England.
Yes.
So New England can call and say, we gave you Garoppolo for nothing. He works in New England. They're not paying their quarterback. They didn't pay J.C. Jackson. They didn't pay Shaq Mason. He works in New England. And by the way, if I'm the Niners, they're not going to beat Buffalo. They're not getting out of the AFC, so I don't have to see Deebo Samuel again. I'll trade him there because they're not getting past Buffalo, Kansas City. That's where I'd call.
They probably wouldn't send him here, but I could see them being a player as Dallas.
I'm not sending him to the NFC. I'm going to send him to Belichick.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to send. Well, at this point, when things are
and Belichick
hostile, they're going to send him wherever. They're not going to do what they're doing with Jimmy, or a player who has leaned into the team and, try and find the best place for him. I would imagine they're just going to send him wherever gives them the best deal.
Let's get Chris Mannix in here. Chris has been covering the NBA, senior writer, Sports Illustrated, also podcaster at The Volume.